Welcome back. It's time for our game balls presented by Colony Pools, flywithcolony.com. All right, a few obvious choices here, guys. So I'm curious to see if you all are simpatico on your selections. So, D-Gun, let's start with you.
I'm giving it to Haason Reddick,
Yeah.
who makes the play of the game, knocks the young wonder kid out of the game, completely changes the 49ers' whole complexion, whole MO in this game. Haason Reddick came out, took advantage of Mike McGlinchey. We talked about it all week long about how there was a mismatch. He asserted himself right from the start. Haason, you get the ball in the game for me.
Love it. Mike, what about you?
All right, I'm going Christian McCaffrey. No, I just said that just to piss Seth off. Haason Reddick, absolutely. I mean, like in the old days, the name of the game was knock a quarterback out, right? Knock him out of the game. That's how you win. Well, he didn't intend to knock him out, but he frankly did. That play just took the 49ers
How do you know
right
that?
out of the game, and they just rolled him from that point on. So Haason gets my game ball.
Seth?
And listen, it's unanimous. I think that that first drive for the offense, Dev, set the tone for the offense for the day. But the way Haason Reddick came out the first two series of this game, before the quarterback got knocked out, he set the tone defensively for him. I mean, they only got him down for 3 tackles, 2 solo, 1 assist, 2 sacks, and a tackle for loss. I don't know where the caused fumble, and they only got him down for 1 quarterback hit. That ain't right, So the statisticians got his numbers wrong, but he was an absolute terror early in the game, and I felt like he set the tone for the game from the beginning.
Haason Reddick definitely is having an incredible season. He's done so much for this defense after having a somewhat slow start to the regular season, yet not a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. Do you think that chip on his shoulder had anything to do with his performance today?
We were just talking to John McMullen about it. I felt like, Nick revved him up last week with some bulletin board material that wasn't true. You could hear that in his post-game presser last week, hey, be careful what you wish for. They were up there talking a whole bunch of nonsense. And then, when the finalists came out this week for, Coach of the Year, MVP, and all of that, and he wasn't even a top 3 finalist. I don't even know if he was a top 5 finalist. And, I think he took it personal. He took it personal. The guy that's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year came in his house, and he outshined him today. And I felt like he took it personal from the word go, that he wanted to show not only Nick Bosa who the real MVP is, but the rest of the league who shunned him and didn't give him an opportunity to even be in the mix for it.
Yeah, I mean, and when you talk about those honors and Coach of the Year, Nick Sirianni, another guy who was slighted, in my opinion.
Crazy.
And a lot of people are saying Kyle Shanahan should win Coach of the Year. I disagree. I think today proved that he is not. But what do you guys think in terms of this game? Do you think Nick Sirianni managed it well? Who managed it better?
Yes,
who managed the game better? He or Kyle Shanahan?
I do want to say I believe that Doug Peterson, is the NFL head coach of the year.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. What he was able to do there. I thought that Nick and his staff did a tremendous job. I felt like Shane Steichen adjusted in the first half to, the passing game just wasn't clicking. They weren't converting a whole lot of first downs, in the first half. As a matter of fact, they were 2 for 7 in third down conversions in the entire first half.
Yeah.
But then they made the adjustment and they started to run the football. And I think once they started to run the football, it opened up the rest of the offense, and they just became extremely dominant. They ran it 44 times again for 148 yards. And, Jonathan Gannon, hey, listen, Christian McCaffrey had that one play where he ripped off that run. But listen, this football team, and I know they had the backup to the backup end, 164 total yards and 3 forced fumbles that the Eagles recovered. So we won the turnover battle. And, all coaches in all phases, there was one time where we kind of held our breath, on a kick return, D-Gun. Yep. But other than that, the special teams held up and did their job today. So you got to tip your hat to this coaching staff. We might not like everything that they do and every way that they do it. It's hard to argue with a team, that is what now 16-3, and you got a quarterback who's 16-1 in games that he played, and you're going to your second Super Bowl for the second time in 5 years. Kind of hard to argue that, man.
When you have this wealth of talent on the football field and this wealth and depth of coaching on both teams, the games become point counterpoint, and who makes the more strategic moves. After the Eagles scored that initial touchdown, the next 3 drives generated a grand total of 13 yards. That's not the Eagles' offense. So they had to figure out exactly what they could do to make themselves more efficient and more fluid against this 49ers defense. They went to the running game, and that was a big turning point from them. And then, of course, the defense, once they understood that this offense could do nothing without their quarterback at the helm, they just basically feasted on them and kept, like Jonathan Gannon likes to do, keep everything in front of them, generated turnovers, got that Niners offense off the field, gave the ball back to their offense. It was lights out.
I think Sirianni should have been the coach of the year, and the fact that he wasn't nominated in the top 3, I think is a crime.
Philadelphia again.
Listen, I understand with Doug Peterson. He had a cute year. This guy took this team to the Super Bowl, and we didn't know what they were. Really, they came into the year. There was maybe one game that you can make the argument he was out-coached. It was that Saints loss. But he had an answer for almost everything this year. When he was first hired, I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was a little high schoolish. But this guy has convinced me that they made the right move. Whatever they saw in those interviews with him that led them to believe that he could be a coach who could take a team to the Super Bowl, I tip my cap to him. I didn't see it. I've learned it.
Yeah, and you know what? Regardless of what those outside of Philadelphia might think of Nick Sirianni, I love him. I love his passion. He has the locker room. The players love him. Darius Slay published an article in the Players Tribune like last week, 2 weeks ago, and he basically talks about how great of a coach Nick Sirianni is because he loves his players and his players love him, and I think that's important. So, Mike, I agree with you. I think he was slighted. All right, that does it for
Shanahan shouldn't be.
Not at all.
They
I
were
agree.
expected to be good. We didn't know what the Eagles were going to be. I think he did the overall better job. Not that Shanahan did a bad job. I just don't understand how he's not a top 3.
You know,
Exactly.
it's the continual, disrespect.
Yes.
That the city of Philadelphia
Yes.
and the Eagles have faced all year. I was again Craig Carton. I was on with him last week, and it was the same thing. And he was just going on and on about why Jalen Hurts was why do you feel like Jalen Hurts is being disrespected, and Nick Sirianni and Haason Reddick and the team. I'm like, because you guys are. I said, but that's okay. I said, that's okay. And I gave him all the reasons why, this football team and those players that were deserving, and Brandon Graham, who should be the comeback player of the year. How do you come back a year removed from an Achilles injury? You're 34 years old in your 13th year, and you show up and you produce double-digit sacks, in a backup role, in a rotational
With
role.
less playing time.
And then you got Saquon Barkley, who is 2 years removed.
Yeah.
From his ACL.
I believe they're still going to be disrespected as they go into this Super Bowl.
That's fine though, because you want to know something. I mean, sooner or later, the rest of the nation is going to understand the stupidity of what they do. Okay, because what they do is they insult us. They insult the players here. They insult the city. They insult the fan base. And you know what? We don't give a damn because you keep insulting us, and you keep hating, and we just keep on percolating. That's what we do.
You can still
it fuels the team.
You can add to that also. Look at Joel Embiid's situation.
Yeah.
The leading scorer in the NBA. Now, we understand he has a foot injury and probably would have declined anyway. He doesn't even get voted as a starter in the All-Star game. But, since I've been here, the years I've been here, it's been constant. And I ask native Philadelphians all the time, why is it such a disrespect? No one has ever been able to give me a definitive answer as to why. I mean, for the first 10 years I was here, every Eagles broadcast, it was on a different set of announcers. One of the first things they want to go to is Santa Claus snowball.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously? That's your storyline right out of the gate? Really, something that happened in the late 60s? Really?
That's okay. Like I said, they keep hurt, they keep hating. We'll keep doing what we're doing. And and to touch on Joel Embiid, you decided you didn't want to give him the MVP last year.
Exactly.
So when the MVP came in town last night, boy, did he put on a damn show.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he gave him the business last night.
But that's why athletes like Embiid, like Jalen Hurts, they thrive in Philadelphia because we are a market for underdogs or those that aren't given the credit that they're due, and we love proving people wrong. And
No, Devin, you know what we do? we don't need other people to give us our respect.
Right.
In Philly, we take what the hell we want.
Yeah.
We take what we deserve. And that's what I love about this team. Not only did they beat the 49ers, who very few people gave them a chance, to beat because, the Eagles haven't played anybody. The 49ers are the best team that they're going to see. They destroyed their ass today.
Yeah,
I love every bit of it, Mike, Mr. Nelson.
I did too.
And I don't even feel sorry for him.
I feel sorry for him.
I did too, but the narrative is going to be, well, they played the 4-string quarterback and the refs were kind of on their side and penalties and yada, yada, yada.
It is what it is.
A win is a win. I'll take it.
It's the hand you get dealt.
That does it for our game balls presented by Colony Pools. FlyWithColony.com. Stick around. The post-game show's coming back right after this break.